It's time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Jake Shields. This is a little interesting because I just happened to show up here and I see you and Matt Brown walking around. And if that doesn't inspire you to get a little nervous about how things are going here and if someone's going to get beat up and how, I don't know what else will. How are you doing here tonight?
Doing pretty good. Luckily, I didn't have to beat AJ up. Came close, but...
You have to explain this thing with you and AJ, and why is it that he gets on your nerves so much?
He just always starts mouthing off to me. He starts being like, fuck you, when he sees me. He just thinks, I think he's used to bullying around Jiu-Jitsu guys, but he forgets that I actually fight. So I gave him a leg kick, checked him real quick, but then Seth ran over, and I realized I told him I wasn't going to beat him up here, so I said I apologize and said I'd save it for later.
You gave him a leg kick here? You checked his leg? Okay. I didn't see this. I didn't know this happened. When did this happen?
After the match, I went up to shake his hand. Even though I don't like him, I was like, hey, it was a good match. And he's just like, fuck you, motherfucker. So I started to walk off, and he kept talking shit, so I gave him a little small leg kick. Nothing big.
Well, it's news to me. Okay.
It was pretty minor. As soon as Seth ran over, because he did tell me, don't fight AJ. So I'm like, fuck, I did tell him I wouldn't do it. So
You're not even fighting here. You don't have a match here, yet you got...
He's delusional. I was trying to let it go, and he's like, fuck you. And at first I'm like, hey, I'm going to let it slide this time. He's like, what do you do next time? That's when I'm like, all right, fuck this guy.
So let this be a lesson, guys. First one's free with Jake. Second one is...
I gave him a couple warnings. The guy, I think he likes getting slapped.
I just love the fact that, like, you're talking to me right now, even off screen, you were very nice. You seem to be super agreeable. You seem very relaxed. It doesn't seem like you're really too tense.
No, I mean, I rarely get in fights. I never start fights, but I also don't take shit. If someone talks shit to me, I'm not the kind of person to sit there and talk shit for a while. I'm gonna smack you. So I go from mellow to you're gonna get hit pretty quick.
When you touched my ribs right there, that was poor timing because I got really nervous and I was like, I have no way to defend myself.
No, I just think it's how we grew up. Like the 209 area. It's like, I don't know. Most places apparently aren't like that, but you never disrespect someone. Like people are always like, Nick and Nate are the nicest guys ever. It's like, as long as you don't disrespect them, because we kind of grew up where someone disrespects you, you fight. So I guess it's most places aren't like that apparently.
Well, that's always why it's so funny, because when they see the two of them going, and the Diaz brothers are great, they give great fights, obviously, but then you see how much their students love them, and everybody who talks about them is saying they're the nicest guys in the world.
As long as you come to them and don't disrespect them, they're the nicest guys ever. It's because I guess where you grow up, you don't disrespect someone, because otherwise, you're going to get hit.
Can I ask you a question? Because I do impressions. I do a Nate Diaz impression. Would that be considered disrespectful?
I'll let it slide since you're not one of the Irish guys.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. I was about to say, I was like, but here's the thing. You're such a nice guy. How does this thing follow you everywhere?
I think sometimes people they think they can talk shit to a celebrity, like, oh, he's a fighter, he's not going to do anything. Sometimes you get guys go in their face. It's mostly just been the Irish fans, actually. They're the only one. I think they're the only fans I've actually had to slap. Like the Brazilian fans, everyone says how bad the Brazilians are. Yeah. They're actually, like, from a distance, they'll be yelling, you will die, but they come to you, they're so respectful. I think because it's kind of like that there, too. If you disrespect someone to your face, you're getting slapped in Brazil. They got the same attitude there, but I think in Ireland, maybe it's different. They'll walk up to you and be like, your boy Nate's getting his ass kicked, and and expect you just to be, like, cool with it. And then, can I get a picture? It's like, no, get the fuck out of here. It's just, I don't know, some people's mindsets are weird. They think they can, like, disrespect your friend and then be friends with you.
Listen, dude, we need to unleash you in more interviews because I enjoy so much your perspective, your ideas, your concepts. But tell me how you got involved here. What brought you out to Fight to Win here tonight?
Oh, yeah, I'm good friends with Garry Tonon. I've been going to New York a lot lately, training with him and John and that whole squad. And, John wasn't able to make it, and I had kind of had a little bit of semi-business, had to do it anyways, so I told him I'd go and help him. Not that he, at his level, he doesn't really need a coach, but it's good having people in your corner there, so I came to support him.
I was a little nervous because, and full disclosure here, I wasn't so much worried that Garry was going to kill AJ. I did have in my own back of my mind, I was like, I'm more concerned about the cornerman possibly killing him.
Yeah, I mean, luckily he wasn't mouthing off during the fight, at least to me, so.
Good to know. All right, let's increase the pace here, people, because this man has been through a lot, even so much recently. I just read this story earlier today that you were able to break up some, I guess, violent protesters that were coming around, and you were able to, like, mitigate what they were doing, right?
Yeah, it wasn't fights I was trying to get involved with, but these guys were out there attacking all kinds of, basically it was some right-wing comedian was speaking at Berkeley, and they were out there just attacking anyone that was there to go to his show. It was really a pathetic display. These guys were calling themselves anti-fascist, but really they were just fascists in mass running around with sticks, just like beating women, anyone. It was pathetic. Yeah, you can look up videos of YouTube's protests. I'm sure you could see, and just pepper spraying girls, beating them with sticks. It's the police stood down. It's like it was just full of cowards. People trying to be like, oh, it's brave. It wasn't brave. It was just cowardly that no one else tried to intervene.
Well, Lo and behold, they didn't know that you were involved. How many people were involved in the scuffle, or how many people were you able to push around?
My particular, I was only involved in one fight thing, probably about 10 to 15 guys with sticks and masks.
Let's stop here real quick. 10 to 15, right?
Yeah, but it's like they're like hipsters. Like, think of the biggest hipsters you can think with like sticks. So they think they're a gang, but these guys, if they ever actually find real Nazis, these guys are going to be in trouble. I mean, I've met some Aryan Brother guys in prison for. These guys are scary dudes. I'm like, whoa, you don't fuck. If these guys actually, if they find real Nazis, these guys are in big trouble. They better hope they keep finding fake Nazis. Yeah, these guys they have no clue of reality. They're just attacking like women with Trump hats, thinking they're like brave, like freedom fighters. It's pathetic what losers they are.
Well, it's terrible to see that sort of thing happens. I think everybody should have the freedom to protest, freedom to discuss, freedom to do whatever they want. Obviously, this is a very controversial issue, but one thing I think we can all agree on, no matter what any political stances are, is that people shouldn't be attacking one another physically.
Yeah, it definitely shouldn't be a right or left issue. It should be freedom of speech, whether it's Kaepernick kneeling, whether it's Milo speaking whatever he wants to speak, whoever it is, we all Americans should agree with sticking up for these people's views.
I just want to know how stupid these people are. Well, I guess maybe they just don't know MMA fighters or just happen to be around.
Yeah, but there were so many of them, so I was only able to fight a couple of them off, and even me, I had my girlfriend there, so I was worried more for the safety of her. I wasn't too concerned about my own safety, but then I was afraid they would start beating her, which, I mean, they were beating women, so.
Well, that's terrible to hear. Obviously, I'm glad that cooler heads prevailed. You were able to help, and you were able to mitigate some of those people from causing any real harm, which is what,
Yeah.
especially when you get a bad...
sent a bunch of people to the hospital, but unfortunately that particular guy I was able to save. I was trying to go back in and save more people, but then my girl kept trying to follow me back in, and she wouldn't leave, so I had to try getting the cops to come in. They wouldn't go in. It was a sad scene. But
well, listen, I mean, like I said, I'm glad cooler heads prevailed. I'm glad you're okay. Not that I'm really worried about you. I think you'll handle yourself.
Yeah, I can hand a couple bats by hipsters.
Hipsters being
the hipster gang. It's the saddest thing you'll ever see. They're not scary. It's like 15 dudes circling you with masks and clubs, and you're almost like laughing. It's like you should be scared, but you're looking around and be like, is this like real life? You hit one of them, and they're all like, ah.
It turns into like the old 60s Batman show.
If I would have had like 4 of my friends, we would have just mopped like a couple hundred of them. Because if you could stand like back to back with this group, they would all run like cowards. Anti-fascists, if you're in that group, you guys are pathetic.
Take that.
Think about what you're doing if you associate that group. Look yourself in the mirror. You guys are pathetic fascists.
Listen, guys, all I have to say is this. You just don't want to pick on an MMA guy or anybody who's there in his vicinity. Just as I said, as I walked in, I checked myself and I was doing nothing wrong, but I was just like, you know what? I'm going to respect Jake. I may have a few jokes that I want to do, but I will pick a time when I am away from him to do those jokes.
I can handle jokes.
Okay.
See, I'm not a guy that'll attack people for jokes, as long as you respect my friends like in a non-joking way.
I love that. I love that so much. And I love that you came here for Garry. Yeah. I have to ask this because your jiu-jitsu, I feel, is so criminally underrated that I feel it's an important question for the jiu-jitsu and the grappling community to ask, which is this. Do we see you at grappling events in the future? Do we see you more in jiu-jitsu competition?
100%. I would love to compete more. I'm talking to a couple people. I'm actually going out a couple weeks, spend a lot of time with John and the crew to learn, to try to learn some of his system and add some new things to my game.
I mean, it's already pretty good, if we're being honest.
Oh, yeah, no, I think I already got a really good jiu-jitsu game, but, you can always improve. And last we can see John's doing some really cool, innovative thing right now, so...
Well, it's always nice because I always like watching you. You're somebody who I think implemented jiu-jitsu well in MMA, and I think that's a tricky beast to do. And going with, obviously, Danaher is going to give you even more arsenal, which makes it fun for us. But on behalf of the grappling community, I just want to say we would love to see you more and more involved in the jiu-jitsu and grappling community. So if we can, whatever we can do to make that happen, I'm not going to pay any money for it, but I'll definitely
throw some money down. No, I think now that there's pro shows and this is a more fun environment to compete, I plan on it. I actually enjoy. I enjoy grappling. It's not as stressful as fighting to me, and now that there's a little bit of money in it, I definitely plan on doing more.
Fuck Jake Seals.
Oh, Garry Tonon, that guy's a loser.
Hey, Garry, do me a favor. Don't stutter when you do the joke. It's time for Jake Shields.
I swear to God. Yeah, you got a problem?
What? I'm not. Never mind. Get out of here. Listen. Well, because he's a person who moves. They're crashing the interview. Let's do this. They want to go ahead and move us over here. Oh, God. My name's Jeff Chu, and I work with Garry Tonon, and we think we're so cool. They're off screen, and just in case you can't tell. Anyway, I have to ask this before we sign off. I did tell you, whenever you signpost something in an interview, you have to do it. So I'm going to do the Nate impression. Okay. Now I need your honest reaction.
Okay.
All right. Give him a topic to talk about.
Conor McGregor.
Fuck that little midget. You know what the funniest part about Conor McGregor is? I look at that little guy and I was like, fuck this shit. Jake Shields gonna take you out with a fucking water bottle, you fucking little bitch. So anyway, that's all I gotta say.
It was decent. I said him with coffee, so you were close.
Well, sorry, I forgot. You know, I didn't want to throw you under the bus because it was a latte, if we're being honest.
That I stole from a reporter. I had nothing to throw, so I jacked some reporters.
That was one of my favorite things in the world was I saw you with coffee, and I was like, does Jake Shields have a latte he's throwing?
Oh, I had nothing to throw, so I stole some reporters' coffee. I think the guy was pretty pissed at me, but sorry, whoever that was.
Well, I'm glad you aren't facing it.
I didn't have people steal my coffee, so it wasn't personal. I wanted to get Dylan Dennis was talking shit, so I'm like, oh, I got to get this guy.
Would you take a match with Dylan?
Oh, it's smacked a little bitch up.
Oof, oof. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off before we get any more matches potentially and fights, but we want to increase the pace. See great grappling from Jake Shields. Jake, I can't thank you enough for taking out time to talk with us. You're a good guy, and let's see you in some Jiu-Jitsu and grappling, sir.
Great. Hopefully I'll be doing that soon.
Absolutely. Cool. Keep it locked here at verbaltapcast.com for more information, you guys.